Hi guys! In this video I'll be recapping Before the 90 Days, Season 8, Episode 2, and the couples I didn't get to in the first part of my recap for this episode. If you haven't yet, please check out that video, where I covered Rick and Trisha and Emma and Zaid. You can find a link to that video up above, and in my playlist for Season 8 of Before the 90 Days. If you're interested in recaps of reality shows like 90 Day Fiancé and Love is Blind, please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll start with Forrest and Sheena. The episode opens with Forrest exercising. He says a few months ago he and Sheena both wanted to lose weight, so they work out together to exercise videos. After their workout, they sit down for a chat and discuss how they'll try to find alone time when he gets to the Philippines. In his confessional, he says his parents are coming on the trip, but his mom is skeptical about Sheena and her family, and could be an obstacle. He's afraid to meet her family, and thinks they don't like him, because he's tried to make Sheena independent from them. He's unemployed now, but says Sheena's been saving every day for their lives in the US. When she stopped giving her parents money, it caused tension between them, but he's proud of her for standing up to them. He says his mom wasn't happy about the idea of him staying longer than planned in the Philippines. He's worried she'll be confrontational, and says they need to convince her that staying longer will be beneficial, and that they need to do everything to bring Sheena to the US. Sheena cries and seems grateful to hear this, and they say they can't wait to be together. On the morning he's supposed to leave, he says he got breakup-level news from Sheena. He explains that about 2 years ago, he'd asked how much she'd save for the K-1 visa, and she said almost $4,000. But he says last night she told him she's actually been giving the money to her parents the whole time. As he packs, he says he's not sure what to do. He believes her parents are sabotaging them, so she doesn't have money to leave them. This is the third time Sheena's lied to him about this, but he says it's complicated because her parents control her. When he told his mom Sheena lied about the money again, he says his mom called Sheena a harlot and says she's using him and they need to break up. He doesn't like that she lied to him, but he prefers to talk things out, and says his mom is more like a hammer and likes to smash things. His mom Molly and stepdad Dev come over. His mom is shocked he's only taking a backpack, which is impressive for an overseas trip. He tells them he's going to get clothes when he gets there, and dive into the culture. In her confessional, his mom explains that yesterday Forrest found out Sheena had been lying about the money again. She says when someone lies repeatedly, that pisses her off. She feels she has to support him, but says she'll be watching like a hawk, because she knows there's more to the story. As they drive to the airport, Forrest asks his parents if they're okay. His mom says she wants to support him, but doesn't think she can trust Sheena. Forrest says to think about it from Sheena's perspective, and imagine your parents threatened to throw you out unless you gave them money. His mom says she needs to talk to the parents. Dev speaks for the first time during the drive, and says they need to understand Sheena's culture, and that might help them understand why she's like she is. And Molly concedes this is a good point. Forrest says Dev has been in his life since he was 12, and that Dev doesn't talk much, but when he does, it's usually on the money. He says it's great to have Dev in his corner, and that both of his parents are stepping out of their comfort zones for this trip. The last time he put his heart on the line, he says it didn't end well. A few years after high school, he met a woman from Indonesia on a karaoke website, and against his mom's wishes, he flew out to see her. He brought $2,000, and his girlfriend went to exchange it and kept the money. He doesn't think Sheena would hurt him like that, but says he thought that the last time, and wonders if he's missing the signs. He says that he's never kissed a girl before, and is excited to find out what it's like. He's heard kisses are salty and sweet at the same time, kind of like a caramel, so he's excited to see if that's true or not. A kiss isn't like that at all, and I'm wondering how big a letdown this will be when he finds out. Hi guys, just a reminder to please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks! They cut to 24 hours earlier in Manila, and we meet Sheena, who's 40 years old. We learn that she's been a veterinarian for over 10 years. This was surprising to me, since she likely makes good money, so it's interesting that she's still controlled by her parents. She says she's shy with people, but since she was a kid, she's had a special connection with animals. She says most of her free time is spent playing video games and watching TV. She considers herself a lonely person, but after she met Forrest, her life opened up. He always makes her laugh and treats her with respect, and she says how excited she is that he's coming tomorrow. Just like Forrest, she also has stuffed animals that represent people in her life, and says the bear she's holding represents him. She's excited about meeting him, but nervous to meet his mom. She originally had a good relationship with his mom, but says recently things went south. She lied to Forrest about their savings, and she's been giving money to her family. She was expecting it to just be a discussion between them, but he told his mom, who sent her multiple text messages. The text said Sheena destroyed Forrest's trust, and that he should end the relationship. She didn't want to lie to him and admits she did the wrong thing, but says she has her reasons, and she's worried Molly will try to break them up when she gets there. She says Forrest was her world for the past 7 years, and if their relationship ends, she'd have the worst pain of her life. It seems like Sheena had us all fooled, as she's a successful veterinarian and seems very nice, and like a good match for Forrest. Of course, TLC did their usual editing to make her appear otherwise. This week we meet a new couple, Aviva and Stig. Aviva is 26 and a dental assistant from Phoenix, Arizona. She says Stig is a well-known rapper in Belize and has attractive women throwing themselves at him 24/7. From the pictures, he looks like he throws himself right back at them. She and Stig started talking a couple years ago. She'd been visiting her aunt who lived in Belize at the time, and when she got home, she posted a video with Belize as the location, and he messaged her. They started as friends, but 6 months ago things started to progress. She's never met him in person, but she's falling for him. They've discussed marriage and children and can't wait to start a family together. In less than a week she's going to visit him, but says not everyone in her life believes in their love. At dinner with her family, her Aunt Spring warns Aviva not to jump straight into marriage. In Spring's confessional, she says she lived in Belize for over 20 years and met her husband there when she was 28. But 2 years ago, she turned on the news and saw he was being arrested with another girl, so she found out he'd been cheating on her. It wasn't the first time, and she's in the process of getting a divorce. She says Belize is a small country, where everyone knows everyone's business, and she's heard some things about Stig that are concerning. She tells Aviva she was at one of Stig's concerts recently, where he performed a song called Vicky about another girl. She says she got messages from her insiders in Belize that Stig and Vicky were both at the concert and left together. Aviva says she doesn't believe that, and he's been very respectful to her. In her confessional, she says she thinks her aunt is just trying to protect her, and hears lots of rumors. In the back of her mind, she's a little worried, but says ultimately she trusts Stig. Spring says she'll be in Belize for her divorce when Aviva will be there, and she'll find out the real story for her. Aviva shakes her head, and Spring says, well, unless you want to find out what's going on in 20 years like I did. Aviva says of course she wants to know what's going on, but she doesn't want to ruin the trip. Spring promises she won't say anything until she knows the truth. She says he's an artist, and there's no way he's alone in Belize. They cut to a scene of Aviva packing. She says she only had a few hours of sleep, and is excited to meet Stig for the first time today. She asked him what he wanted from the States, and he asked for a Chinese dish called firecracker shrimp. They show a clip where he requested this, and he said if she brings him that, he'll marry her. So, ignoring all food safety common sense, she's packing the hot Chinese food in her luggage, and has 2 flights, and has to go through customs and security. And let me remind you, this is shellfish. Why didn't someone from production at least warn her about the nearly certain food poisoning that will ensue? In her confessional, she admits that what her aunt says worries her, but she's trying to stay positive. However, lately Stig has been hard to read, so part of her wonders if the rumors are true. She hopes to leave Belize with a ring, and says they've talked about getting engaged before, but she's not sure how he feels. She just knows she's ready to commit to him. At the airport, a producer asks how the shrimp is doing, and Aviva says it's leaking all over her and stinks. And still the producer says nothing about how dangerous this is. At the very least, food poisoning aside, Aviva should have put it in Tupperware instead of packing it in the flimsy styrofoam it came in. I don't have much to say on this couple yet, except I agree Stig is probably getting around. I think Aviva's just a little naive. Her Aunt Spring, on the other hand, is a trip, and it'll be interesting to see what kind of mess she causes. Anyway, that's it for this video. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching.